Today I'm here with Coughlin, and we're going to talk about estate planning for valuables.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
And so we've discussed the difference between probate assets and non-probate assets with your colleagues at Coughlin and Gerhart. Are there any items that people may not realize are important to discuss in someone's estate plan?
Yeah, absolutely. So most of our estate planning clients, they've got a good sense of their bank accounts, their retirement assets, things like real property. Those are going to be the focal point of someone's estate plan. But it is fairly common for items of personal property to not necessarily be at the forefront of their thoughts when they're setting up that estate planning process. However, these items can be important to at least discuss. In our experience, they can have logistical complications in ensuring that your estate gets full market value of these personal property items.
Absolutely. And what types of personal property should people be bringing up to their attorney?
Yeah, so my preferred suggestion to clients is to ensure that you bring up any items that have significant monetary value or significant sentimental value. These could be valuables, things like silver and gold, grandma's fine china, your baseball card collection, or cryptocurrencies, something like that.
And are there any common issues with these items?
Yeah, there sure are. So a few common examples we'll see, and I'll start with gold and silver. You may think that gold and silver shouldn't be that complicated, but it's important to make sure that either your named executor or your family members who are going to benefit from your estate know what you have. So there are varying degrees of purity and value for both gold and silver. There's things that are rare, there's things that isn't. If your loved ones don't know the value of your precious metals, they may not know how to dispose of that to get the full value. It's not as simple as going to, driving around and finding a sign that says, "We buy gold and silver." And you may think that, but it may very well be beneficial for your executor to know the exact type. We see that a lot with coins. Otherwise, they may get a wide range of quotes on what the actual value of these assets are. And you as the collector likely know what that's worth more than your next of kin does. Knowing how to best access and sell collectible items, that can be an issue. Grandpa's baseball cards might be worth $1 million. They might be worth $10. You never really know. And cryptocurrencies particularly can create headaches for folks. Your executor just may earnestly not know how to capture the best value or even how to access some of those things, particularly if your cryptocurrency is held on a crypto wallet. Having clear and concise conversations and or directions for your executors can really help eliminate those problems.
Absolutely. And what happens if there aren't discussions or instructions about what to do with the assets?
Yeah, a common default that when people don't really know what to do is they'll hire an estate sale company to auction things, and they for the most part do a great job at maximizing the value, but they may not know. And, we've all seen those antique roadshow windfall stories on the news where, grandma's hutch was worth $100,000 and nobody knew it. You want to make sure that if you have something like that people know.
You mentioned items with sentimental value. How can someone plan for the distribution of those assets easily?
Yeah, so items with the highest sentimental value, they can create the hardest job for an executor. One suggestion I typically make to clients is discuss these items with your loved ones. See what people may want. See what they may not want. It's never fun to necessarily discuss your own mortality, but having that conversation and seeing what really may matter to your son or daughter or to your cousin and giving that to them while you're alive, you can actually see them enjoy it. When we see estate beneficiaries really kind of hunker down and fight over sentimental value items, it can be really costly and create some really long-term hard feelings that those can be avoided by just having that conversation.
And are there any last estate planning tips that you would want to share with someone?
Yeah, so just communicating, again, with your named executor, with the professionals you're working with, having an explanation and having that roadmap on how to best handle those assets can ensure that your estate goes smoothly after you pass away. At Coughlin and Gerhart, what we like to do is sit down, have that conversation directly with clients one-on-one. So if you or a loved one has that, please feel free to reach out.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Keegan.